Michael, if I might start with you, this is a huge order for a very controversial aircraft. Why are you making this commitment now? Why have you decided that this is the time to do this? And are you 100% convinced that this aircraft is safe?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good to talk to you. Yeah, I'm absolutely convinced this is the time and this is the moment. You know, Boeing have gone through a torrid year with not just the grounding of the Max, but the impact of COVID as well. I think you look at the work that Dave and the team in Boeing, the regulators, Steve Dixon here in the FAA, Patrick Key and the team in Europe and EASA have done. This is the most audited, most regulated, safest aircraft ever to be delivered. And remember, this aircraft's already flown for 22 months before the tragic accidents that befell it. So, you know, 47 million people have already flown in a Boeing Max aircraft. But the systems have been redesigned, they've been upgraded, there's comprehensive training. Ryanair, we have 3 Max simulators already up and running in our Dublin and Stansted bases. We've put our pilots through it, they love the aircraft. The aircraft performs brilliantly, and we were heartened, I think, by the very strong support that Patrick Key and EASA in their statement in Calhoun on the 24th of November gave to the work that Dave and the team in Boeing have done. It's a great aircraft. It's a safe aircraft. We can't wait to take delivery of these planes, and we know that our customers are going to enjoy flying on them as early as the summer 2021.
Dave Calhoun, let's pick on some of those points and discuss them a little bit further. You have got an awful lot of aircraft, 737 Maxes, parked on the lot right now. The ones that Michael are ordering are actually not those aircraft. They're not ones that are currently built. They're going to be, I understand, new ones. They're Ryanair variants. What are you going to do with the aircraft that you currently have sitting on the lot? And are you going to make any money, considering it's such a buyer's market now for 737 Maxes, off the transaction you've done with Michael?
Yeah, so the forecast for depleting that inventory is roughly a 2-year time frame, and we're confident that that can be done. The most important thing about the economics associated with that inventory are sort of when you do it, how patient can you be as you live through this recovery. We have incredible faith in the recovery of the industry, and if anything, relative to the early projections that we made with respect to recovery, this vaccine development, the potential global distribution of that vaccine over the course of 2021, if anything, accelerates our view of recovery and the faith in that recovery relative to where we were when we began with the COVID crisis. So we are actually building more and more faith, which means we'll be more and more patient. It will still take us 2 full years. I'm confident of that. And we have enough liquidity to allow for that. And so that's the way we're playing it. What I am very confident in, and I think what this order is a testament to, is the value of the airplane to the airlines and the performance that it gives them. Michael's model, low cost, low fare, is the model that is creating the growth track that our industry has enjoyed for so long. It allows for more passengers. It introduces more passengers to the industry, it spurs tourism, all those good things. For him to select this airplane based on its performance day in and day out is a testament to that value, and that's what we will have to hang our hats on.
Michael, positive words there from Dave about the outlook in terms of demand, but I've just looked at your November traffic numbers. They were out yesterday. They were down 82%. Isn't this purchase a little out of kilter with anticipated demand at the moment? Why are you putting your balance sheet at risk? And is there any flexibility in the terms of the deal if demand does not come back as quickly as you anticipate?
Actually, there isn't, and nor do we need that flexibility, Guy. I mean, there's a couple of things. You know, clearly our November traffic, we were down 80%, but, you know, Europe is through September, October, November has been in a second lockdown. Look, I think by the time we get into the new year, the vaccines are coming. They're already beginning to be licensed. You know, travel is going to snap back very strongly. This is an order not for next summer. This is an order for the next 5 years, the next decade across Europe. The economics of this aircraft, and I've been banging on about this aircraft for the last 5 years, it's a game changer. It offers us 4% more seats. We carry 8 more passengers per flight with more leg room, with more comfort, but it burns 16% less fuel. You know, in my last full year, I spent more than $2 billion a year on fuel. I can now save $300 million that I can pass on to my customers in the form of lower airfares. So this is an investment by Ryanair in the next 5-10 years. If travel doesn't recover quickly, as quickly as we predicted in summer 21, I'll leave some of the older NGs grounded for the moment. You know, I've written them off. You know, I own them. I don't have to pay monthly lease rentals. So, but as fast as Dave and the team can deliver me these aircraft that carry more passengers but burn less fuel and also have 40% lower noise emissions, I will fly those aircraft. I will ground some of my older fleet if I have to. But I'm convinced that Europe's going to rebound very strongly. Like, I think you'll see vaccines widely available by about the end of the first quarter. Europe has been locked up for the last 12 months. I think there's a huge pent-up demand for travel. I don't think people will go back to long-haul travel that quickly next year. So I think you're going to see by midsummer next year a huge demand for the beaches of Portugal and Spain and Italy and Greece. Business travel starting to move again, you know, stimulated with lower fares. And, you know, we're going to get people back moving using lower fares. But this aircraft order, these aircraft are going to allow Ryanair to lower our costs, to lower our prices, and to lead what I think will be a very strong recovery in Europe. An awful lot of capacity has been lost in Europe. Thomas Cook has gone bust, Flybe has gone, Germanwings have gone. Many of the legacy airlines have reduced their fleets quite significantly, 20, 30, 40%. We've got to put these aircraft back into the airports of Europe, and we've got to get Europe moving again, because that's how we're going to get our young people in Europe back to work.
Dave, that's the picture in Europe, and Michael talks about the opportunities that he sees there. Do you think similar opportunities exist in the United States? And if they do you think we're going to see similar orders from the big 737 users in the United States? I'm thinking particularly here of Southwest. Are you talking to them at the moment about a top-up deal like the one that Michael has just done?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to call out individual airlines as to who goes first or so forth, but I do want to reiterate the timeline that Michael outlined. We're not measuring recovery in months. We all know we've got a rough couple of months ahead of us. Everyone's prepared for it. But that vaccine distribution will change the psychology of the flying public. It just will. Ultimately, this will get under control, and I have a similar view of the summer months for the U.S. airlines. And as that summer month comes back and bookings increase, and I think they'll increase quickly because pent-up demand is real, and it's real in the United States as it is in Europe. Now, I believe then the competitive juices that exist in the airline industry, and they're serious juices, they'll come to bear. And airlines will want to reestablish their leading competitive position. So that usually results in orders. So I'm not going to guess exactly which one or when or any of this sort. But I have a lot of faith in the recovery, and I have a lot of faith in the competition that exists amongst the U.S. airlines. And I believe this market will return quickly.
In fact, you know, I think we can share some of the details of one of the follow-on orders. We're already talking to Dave and the team about an order for the Max 10, you know, which is going to be the new larger 737, the 225, 228-seat aircraft. You know, we're looking forward again, you know, to 2024, 2025. We're going to need bigger aircraft in Europe. We think the Max 10 is going to be, you know, the future order, and we're in active dialogue on that. So, you know, from our point of view, we're already talking to Dave and the team about more orders.
Michael and David, it's Alex in New York. It's a pleasure to talk to
Alex,
both of you. Hi. David, I wanted to follow on kind of both of those points. Conversations might be advancing for other orders with Ryanair, but a lot of the American airlines are saddled with a ton of debt. They're asking the government for more and more bailout money. What's your degree of confidence that you're going to have a follow-through with big orders from some of the key players? And I know you won't give a specific timeline, but you got to have a confidence level.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that the bill that is being discussed as we speak in the United States legislature is very important to that snapback, because if the airlines can sustain their operations and sustain employment from now until this virus and the psychology associated with it begins to move the other way, they will be that much more capable of a robust recovery. In other words, starting up those operations, bringing those airplanes back into service, et cetera. So I think this is a very important piece of legislation. I'm very hopeful that they get something done on that front. With respect to balance sheets, of course, each and every one of the airlines have their own liquidity challenges, as does Boeing. They are committed to the recovery, and airplanes actually serve as an incredibly secure collateral for lenders. So capital availability is actually a little more robust than I think most people think. And then it's a question of who moves first and to what extent do they move first. They all have different plans, different ways to come out. I can't guess as to sort of how and exactly they do that, but I do have faith in their competitiveness. And I think they're all going to want to win when that robust recovery shows up.
Michael, speaking about faith, it seems to be steps to solve the Airbus-Boeing tariff issue, and I wanted to see how that would be affecting you, and if the deal for the airplanes compensated for any kind of tariff risk, particularly in the middle of a U.S. administration transition.
Look, I think as an industry generally, every part of the airline industry, whether you're European, American, whether you're an Airbus customer, a Boeing customer, we want an end to the tariff wars. It does not serve our customers, our passengers, our tourism industries, will not benefit from the imposition of tariffs. There's unanimity, I think, across the House. I think the new administration in the States, there will be a rapprochement with the European Union. I think the Europeans want an end to the kind of tariff war over aircraft. Certainly, I think the Americans do. It's not in the interests of our consumers. You look at the devastation that's been visited upon, the U.S. tourism industry, Europe's tourism industry. Our hotels are empty, our visitor attractions are empty. We got to get these things back moving again, and that can best be done by having tariff-free aircraft sales. And I'm confident that I think a deal will be done between the European and the American authorities, hopefully early in the new year.
If I can, I might just add, the current administration, I think, is intent on trying to resolve this during their tenure. And I know there's still open and constructive dialogue going on that front. So I have faith both now and later.
Michael, let's return to the Max and customers' desire to get on that aeroplane. Dave dismissing earlier on, I understand, in the press conference, the idea of a rebrand for the aircraft. My colleague Julie Johnson breaking that story a year ago. Apparently it was discussed then at the Paris Air Show when IAG was placing its MOU. Do you think it would be a good idea to rebrand the aircraft? Do you think there is going to be an issue with getting consumers on them?
Honestly, I don't think so. I don't see any point in rebranding the aircraft, like whether you call it the Max, the 8200, the Game Changer. It's a 737. The 737 has been the most successful aircraft program in the history of civil aviation. Do I think our customers will care whether they're getting on a Max aircraft or an NG aircraft? Honestly, most of them won't know. But if anybody does, for the first 3-6 months, we're so proud and so assured of these aircraft. If somebody wants to get off a Max aircraft, we're going to let them off. You can go on the next flight operated by an NG. There will be no quibbles about it because it is so safe. I think once people get on the plane, see the interiors, enjoy the experience, quieter, more fuel efficient. And, in the history of aviation, 99.99 airfares have conquered almost every known fear of air travel. And there will be lots of $9.99 airfares from Ryanair across Europe next year. Customers will convert to these aircraft very quickly. I go back a couple of years, with the 787s had issues with the lithium-ion batteries. Fixed, redesigned, fixed. A 787 has been a fantastically successful program. And the 737 MAX will too.